Some mysteries refuse to stay buried, and some secrets were never meant to be uncovered. Welcome to Trapped in the Unknown, where we dive deep into the darkest crimes, mysteries, and the unexplained. Are you ready to uncover the truth? Let's begin.
There are stories that feel more like nightmares than reality. A young woman, a haunted hotel, and a mystery that still confuses the world to this day. This is the case of Elisa Lam. Before Elisa Lam became the center of one of the internet's most chilling mysteries, she was just a young woman, full of dreams, full of questions, full of hope. Elisa was born in British Columbia, Canada, to immigrant parents from Hong Kong. She grew up in Vancouver, a city surrounded by nature and culture, but like many her age, she sometimes felt out of place. Her blog was where she truly spoke her mind, raw, honest, sometimes poetic, sometimes heartbreaking. She opened up about her struggles with bipolar disorder and depression. She wasn't afraid to say she had good days, and days when everything felt too heavy. But even in her most vulnerable posts, Elisa always seemed to be searching for something. A sense of belonging, peace, freedom from the weight she carried inside. So, in January 2013, she packed her bags. California was calling, warm, bright, full of stories waiting to be lived. She had never traveled alone before, but maybe that was the point. She wanted to prove something to herself, that she was more than her illness, that she could live boldly, just like the people in the books she loved. Her trip began with excitement. She posted pictures, thoughts, and updates. She stayed in contact with her parents daily. Everything seemed fine until it wasn't. When Elisa Lam booked a room at the Cecil Hotel, she probably didn't know what she was walking into. The Cecil wasn't just another cheap hotel in downtown Los Angeles. It was infamous, soaked in decades of mystery, tragedy, and fear. Opened in 1924, the hotel was once meant to be a luxurious destination. But as the years passed, the glamour faded, and something darker took its place. By the 1980s, the area around the Cecil, known as Skid Row, had become a place few wanted to visit. The hotel itself became a haven for crime, addiction, and death. It earned a reputation as the Suicide Hotel. And that wasn't just a nickname. Dozens of guests died inside its walls. Jumped from windows, overdosed, vanished. The Cecil became the temporary home of serial killer Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, during his 1985 murder spree. Another murderer, Jack Unterweger, stayed there too, choosing victims from the streets right outside. The elevator doors, the long, narrow hallways, the flickering lights, they all carried a strange, heavy energy. Some say the place is cursed. Others say it attracts darkness or creates it. And this is where Elisa checked in. A young woman traveling alone, battling inner demons, walking straight into a place full of them. What made her choose the Cecil? Was it just the price, the location, or something else? We may never know, but one thing is certain. From the moment she walked through those doors, nothing was ever the same again. Elisa was supposed to check out on February 1st, 2013, but she didn't. No calls, no messages, just silence. Her family, already worried about her mental health, knew something was wrong. They contacted the Los Angeles Police Department, And soon, an official search began. Officers went room by room through the Cecil Hotel. They checked common areas, stairwells, the roof, even brought in dogs trained to detect human scent. But there was no trace of Elisa Lam. It was as if she had simply vanished. And then, the LAPD released something that would change everything. A video, captured by a surveillance camera inside one of the hotel's elevators. Recorded on the night of her disappearance, the footage quickly went viral. In it, Elisa enters the elevator. At first, she seems calm, maybe a little confused. She presses multiple buttons. Then, she steps out, looks around, steps back in. Her behavior becomes stranger. She hides in the corner, peeks out as if someone's chasing her. Her hands move in odd, almost inhuman gestures, like she's speaking to something or someone that we can't see. And then, suddenly, she disappears from view. The elevator doors remain open, but she never returns. The video sparked millions of theories. Was she being followed? Was she hallucinating? Was there something or someone outside that camera's view? Some believed it was a psychotic episode. Others were convinced it was something supernatural, and a few thought it was a cover-up. But one thing was clear. Something had happened to Elisa Lam, and the world couldn't look away. The elevator footage of Elisa Lam didn't just go viral, it became an obsession. Frame by frame, people analyzed her every move. She enters the elevator, presses multiple buttons, one after the other, but the elevator doors don't close. That's the first strange detail. Elevators don't usually do that. Then, Elisa steps out, looks both ways, then quickly jumps back in, like she's hiding. From what? She flattens herself against the wall, presses her back into the corner, watching. Then, she steps out again. At one point, her arms and hands move in a strange, almost ritualistic pattern, fingers fluttering as if she's trying to communicate with something invisible. It was eerie, unsettling. To some, she looked terrified. To others, she looked like she was playing. But the most chilling part? The elevator doors never close while she's inside. They only start moving once she disappears from frame. It didn't take long for theories to flood the internet. Some believed she was suffering a mental health episode, possibly triggered by her bipolar disorder. Others claimed it was something more supernatural. Was someone or something following her? Was the elevator malfunctioning, or was the video edited to hide something? Some online sleuths even slowed down the video, enhanced shadows, and pointed to strange reflections, saying there might have been another presence there, just out of frame. 19 days. That's how long Elisa Lam was missing. In that time, theories multiplied, fear grew, and the Cecil Hotel continued to operate as usual. But then, the guests started to complain. They said the water pressure was low. The water itself had a strange color and an even stranger taste. Some described it as metallic. Others bluntly said it smelled off, unclean. The complaints kept coming. So finally, a maintenance worker was sent to the roof, where the water tanks sat, out of sight from the public. To access the tanks, he had to climb a secured stairwell, unlock a heavy door, then climb up a ladder to the top of the large containers that provided water to the hotel's rooms. And that's when he saw it. Floating inside one of the tanks was a body. It was Elisa. Her clothes were found floating beside her. The question now wasn't just, what happened to her? It was, how did she get up there? The area was supposed to be restricted. The door to the roof was locked and had an alarm, one that would alert staff if anyone tried to open it. There were no stairs or ladders directly leading to the tanks themselves, only a narrow platform and steep metal ladders. To get inside one of the tanks, she would have had to climb up, open a heavy lid, and somehow lower herself in. And once inside, there was no way out. The discovery only deepened the mystery. Was it an accident? Did someone put her there? And how could no one notice for 19 days? The internet was already obsessed, but now the world was watching. And no one could understand how a young woman vanished in a building full of people, only to be found in the one place no one expected. Even the toxicology report raised eyebrows. Some of her prescribed medications, ones used to treat bipolar disorder, were either missing from the report or found in lower than expected levels. This led some to believe that maybe she had stopped taking her medication, which could have triggered a manic or psychotic episode. But if that were true, why didn't the hotel notice? Why wasn't she under supervision after showing such strange behavior in the elevator? And if she really climbed into the tank alone, barefoot with no ladder, why were her clothes removed? The official report answered one question, the cause of death. But it left dozens more in its place. And as people dug deeper, the inconsistencies only grew. Some say it was mental illness, that Elisa, off her medication, became trapped in a storm inside her own mind. Others believe it was foul play, a hidden truth buried beneath hotel politics, missteps in the investigation, or someone who was never caught. And then, there are those who believe the explanation goes beyond our understanding. Something paranormal, spiritual, even cursed. Why? Because the pieces don't fit. Because the elevator video looks like something out of a horror movie. Because the Cecil Hotel's past is filled with darkness. And maybe, because deep down, we all fear that we could disappear too. Even in the middle of a crowded city, in a world full of cameras and people. Elisa Lam's case is more than a mystery. It's a reflection of everything we don't understand. Mental illness, isolation, fear, the unknown. And maybe that's why we can't stop thinking about her. Because Elisa wasn't just a name in the headlines. She was a real person, with dreams, with fears, with a life. And even now, years later, we're still looking for answers.
What do you think happened to Elisa Lam? Was it a tragic accident, or is there more to the story? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. True, chilling, and unforgettable. This is Trapped in the Unknown. See you in the next mystery.